Hi, I'm Lexi Sandifer. I'm the nutritional therapist with Champion Chiropractic Center, and today we're going to learn how to make bone broth. Bone broth goes back centuries, and your grandmother or great-grandmother most likely made it, and that's how you got to taste their wonderful homemade soups and stews and gravies as well. So today we're going to learn how to make this century-old recipe. Now, I use this in my clinic for people who have digestive disruption. This is a great healer for the intestinal tract. I also use it for people who have bone issues. So that looks like osteopenia, osteoporosis, weakness in the bones, weakness in the teeth, because we're going to help remineralize the body. You can use this with beef, you can use it with pork, you can use it with chicken, but what we're looking for is an organic bone, and we're looking for one that is not fed any antibiotics or fed any food that has fertilizers or that to it, because we're using this for the minerals. And so we want to make sure your product is as pure as possible. So in front of me today, you'll see that I have a chicken carcass. This is left over from our dinner last night. And you can also use a whole chicken, and as you cook, you just take the meat off 3 hours into it and then use the meat for something else, like a casserole or tacos or like that. And then you put the carcass back in, because our whole focus is on the bone. And the great thing about making broth is that it's what I call a dump and go, because we're not looking for pretty cuts or anything like that. We want everything big and chunky because we're just utilizing it for its nutritional properties. So I've cut really rough cut with the tops on still, some carrots. I have some fresh parsley here that I haven't even chopped. And then I have celery here with the leaves on, and a big, huge onion, one whole onion, and a whole clove of garlic. I have peppercorns, whole peppercorns, and this is called real salt. It is a highly mineralized salt. The whole goal is to get as much nutrition into this broth as possible. So, because I have non-granite countertops, I have Formica countertops, I have to use a block for my crock pot. So I put my crock pot on top of this because I'm going to be cooking this for about 16 to 20 hours. So the crock pot can get really hot, and it can warp your surface. So we want to make sure that that stays protected. So in my pot, I'm going to just add my carcass, the whole thing. Again, you can put your whole chicken in because you can use that meat for meals later on. So in goes the chicken, and now I'm going to put in my herbs and just spread them around. And then in goes my rough cut vegetables. So in goes those carrots, and now we're going to add the celery. And as you can see, the pot gets quite full. And then of course onion, lots and lots of onion. And then all those garlic cloves. And if you can't have garlic, don't put it in. We just like a whole lot of garlic. So this is a whole tablespoon full of raw black peppercorns. So that's going in. And then if you'll notice, I'm going to use a pretty huge scoop of salt. 2 big scoops of real salt. And then all I'm going to do is cover that with water, so that the whole thing is covered with water. On goes the lid, and then I'm turning my crock pot on to low, and I am putting the timer on. What I end up doing is maxing this one out, and then I'll go back in and reset it again. And so that's it. It's good to go from there, and then as soon as it's done, I'll show you how to process it from there. So it's been about 20 hours since this has been cooking, and I'm going to be transferring it. One of the things I want you to make sure that you do during the cooking process is making sure that as you're about 3 hours into it, about every 2 to 3 hours, you go in and you push down on the contents, and that you're pushing onto the bones so that we're releasing those minerals into the stock. So what I have here is 20 hours of cooking, so it's condensed way down that you'll be able to see. And what I'm going to do is transfer this into a colander and into a bowl. And I suggest that you wear an apron or that you do it over a sink because it will splatter. So make sure that you're covered when you're doing this. So I'm going to transfer this into the bowl and then we'll finish this off. Okay, so here are the drained off contents, and this is what it looks like once we get it into the bowl. From here, you can cover this with plastic wrap and put it in your refrigerator and it'll last a week. Or you can store it. So some of the different ways that you can store this that I like is using a glass jar. If you do use glass and it's going into the freezer, you need to allow about 1.5 inches of headroom for expansion if you're going to use glass in your freezer. Make sure that this is cooled down to room temperature before it's going into either the fridge or the freezer. And the next one that you can do is you can ladle it into Ziploc bags, burp the air out, and then lay them flat in discs so that you can have them in the freezer laying flat. Or you can use good old Tupperware Rubbermaid containers. One of the things I also like to do is use an ice cube tray. And what I do is I just fill the broth into the ice cube tray and then I lay it in my freezer. Once it's frozen, I just pop the cubes out and store them in a Ziploc bag so that when I'm making soups, sauces, gravies, etc., I can throw some of the bone broth in to enhance the mineralization of the food that I'm making. So the other thing that we do, and you can go on our website www.championchiropracticcenter.com and go into videos and into recipes under nutrition. And I have a chicken chili in there, and I have a chicken and rice recipe as well that I use this stock in. So you can do anything with stock that will enhance the nutrition in it and replace all the canned and store-bought and boost your health in the process. So give this a try. It's super, super easy. It is amazing in its taste. One more thing, one more tip. I just saw this. You're going to get a fat layer on this when you get it into the refrigerator and get it cooled down. Don't throw that fat away. You want to keep that fat in and mix it in so that you're getting a full boost of nutrition in your broth. So keep that fat on top. All right, you all have a great day and I'll see you next time. Bye.